Alright, so here we're looking at the PQRST complex. So it must look something like this. Like crop out. Alright, so we have something like that. And then so we said P, we said Q, R, S, T. Now in rare cases you're going to find another extra wave after the T wave, which is the U wave. So what do each of these waves mean? So you're familiar with the Q, that's atrial contraction. The entire QRS complex, that's ventricular contraction, while you have atrial relaxation, and then the T is for ventricular relaxation. Now the U indicates repolarization of the Purkinje fibers. Yeah, sometimes you will not see it because it is too small to be noticed on your ECG, but sometimes you'll be able to see it, so just look out for it. That's the U wave. So P, Q, R, S, T, U, but usually they just end by U. Next to that data job B. So here I wanted us to look at the different abnormalities, the different heart conditions that a person would have, and how your ECG will look upon a person having that specific condition. So we need to be familiar with the segments and the intervals of the PQRS complex. So the first one that we have is this interval from the beginning of the P to the beginning of the Q, and this is called the PQ interval. Yeah, PQ interval. And then also have another interval that is starting from this same Q and ending where the T ends, so that is the QT interval. And then we're going to have a segment on top here from S to T called the ST segment. So these are the three major things that we need to be familiar with as we look at our different conditions. Alright, so the first condition that we're going to look at is going to affect the transmission of the impulses from the atria to the ventricles. Now looking at our phase, the segment or the interval that indicates the transmission of an impulse from your atria to your ventricle is this part from P to Q, because remember Q was atrial contraction, and then the entire QRS you're having ventricular contraction. So meaning between this space from P to Q you are having transmission of your action potential from the atria to the ventricles. So the disease that I shall mention actually prolongs this PQ segment. So you're going to have an ECG that looks a bit like this. So there you have your P, and then there you have an abnormally long PQ interval, and then you're going to have the rest being like that. Okay, so this is how the gamma ECG is going to look like. Alright, now what is this same? Alright, so the condition that is going to prolong this this PQ interval is rheumatoid fever or any coronary artery disease that isn't an infection or the myocardial ischemia. But yeah, so mainly we'll just say rheumatoid fever or rheumatic fever. Yeah, so that is our first condition. And then the second one that you may have is going to affect the ST segment. Now if you look at your ST segment, your ST segment is that one over there. This is your ST segment here, and then this ST segment we can either have it being elevated or we can have it being depressed. Now you have looked at angina pectoris, and you have different kinds of angina that can either be we're not stable and stable way, but at ST elevating, non-ST elevating. Yeah, so we're going to get that therapeutics data and apply it with our physiology. So how will your PQRST complex look like? It's going to start like that, go like that, go down, go up, go down again, and then this one here is going to be somewhere there, and then you're going to have it like that. So like that is elevated. So just as we have mentioned already, you would expect to see heart attack or angina attack being elevating it like this. Yeah, and then a condition that can depress it, mean your ST segment being down below the baseline that you have there, is simply a condition that is going to reduce blood flow to the heart. So this reduction in blood flow to the heart can come from a lot of different causes. So generally we're just going to say any condition that reduces blood flow to your heart is likely to depress the ST segment. And then akalasti ni ka QT interval. How can your QT interval be affected by some conditions? Yeah, so your QT interval is also going to be lengthened, as was the PQ interval. So your QT is actually your comma Q to the T. This one is going to be lengthened in conditions of myocardial damage or myocardial ischemia. Alright, so that's basically the gist that you have. So if you were asked to draw the PQRST of any of these mentioned conditions, you must have those ideas that we've listed down as, you know, starting ideas. At least if you're there, then at least you're there. You know, you can't be completely blank, beloved. So otherwise